morning, good evening, and a good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzamos, and I welcome you to the page of truth, page of enlightenment, page of freedom, and the page of breaking empaths free. So, as I promised, we've got the first story today, a victim of narcissistic abuse. And before I go into the story, I would like to encourage, for the ones who are just logging in and narcissism resonates with you, I encourage you to join us and like the page, share, and subscribe. Then for the ones who have always been with me, I welcome you back and I thank you for being part of this tribe. So my first story, before I read it out, the victim has decided to stay anonymous. So there is no name to it. The only thing we know for now is that this is somebody from the US. It's a lady from the US, somewhere in the US. And this lady is around 66 years old. That's the only thing the only info I can give you for now. So for the ones who are going to send in the stories later on, I will encourage you to say, to send the story with, very good, read through your stories. Read through the stories, double check everything, spellings and everything, the grammar, because when the story comes in, I'm not going to edit it and I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to read it out like I said yesterday. I'm going to read it out the way you send it to me, because that is exactly your story. So I'm not going to edit anything. So it's up to you to double check your story, write it the way it's supposed to be, double check it again and again. And when you're comfortable with whatever it is you've written down, then you can send me the story. Then I will still read it out the way I receive it. And again, you can always be anonymous if you want, or if you don't mind, if you're comfortable with it, I can always mention your names, the places where you live, and even sometimes your age if you want. So it's up to you to give me the information you want me to disclose. But as well, it's up to you if you want to stay anonymous. So without wasting time, we are going to go into this lady's story, and let's see what she has to say. Let's also see what was her experience as regards dealing with the narcissist. And the story goes like this. She was born of a British Spanish mom and fathered by an Arab prince, the third child in Leicester, England, 1955. They ignored the rules of pre-arranged marriages and were disowned by their families on both sides. Moved to the USA. My father prospered, a generous black Arab man. He took my mom and him on their first and final honeymoon. In 1961, after 5 children, they called treasures. I was the third between 2 brothers, the second daughter. Still online now, Factory Estate versus First National Bank of Chicago. My earthly lost his title as prince, yet was dubbed the Prince of Morocco by the Prime Minister of Morocco. Again, reinstating him with this title, although my dad didn't really adhere to earthly titles. He was a beautiful man with a sweet smile and a generous heart. He gave to the homeless, always a giver to the end, very creative, fell in love with dark-haired beauty, my mom, at a Sadie Hawkins dance. She was a child prodigy, very gifted in piano, band, attended London's Royal Academy of Music. I learned from her at 3 years old and continued with music via college lessons, etc., to further instruct. I was orphaned at 6. In 1961, their plane crashed in Morocco into the Pyrenees Mountains. Due to failure of the altimeter in the plane, 70 passengers, young and old, died there in Morocco that day, September 12, 1961. This was a devastating experience for herself and her young brothers and sisters. She was a brown child, so her grandmother, who was watching them for a pay that month, until her parents returned, and of course could no longer, sent her to boarding school, a Catholic institution She met many now celebrities, such as the Kennedy via Mary Shriver Mafia Girls. Still was at that time the only orphan at the exclusive St. Mary's. She was lonely, missed her family. Still, she had excellent education and 2 private piano lessons a day. She didn't know then that she was confessing her sins. Some made up for the occasion to an older priest behind the cubicle in screen was a much older predator because she was raped as a teenager and she married him. She thought was damaged all her family in the UK. She's here in the US alone. And cousin men in Vietnam. So had children by this evil man, inheritance due to her parents. He was really evil. Her sons became like him. Her sons became like him too. She really loved all her children. She had 5 from 1972 to 76 to 77 to 82 and eventually to 94. She really don't want to state the evils of narcissist because it's too many murderous evil, envious to list. Just please Ephesians 5:15 to shun evil. No contact is biblical. No church teaches this. Yes, Jesus Christ does. Well, she's grateful and blessed survived the harm, the stalking, gaslighting, lies, demeaning with a sound mind and still a musical spirit, giving and loving. Yes, try to kill her, and by God's grace, she still lives. Anonymously yours. So that has been our story for today. I would like to congratulate the Mrs. Anonymous who managed to come out and speak and share her experience. Of course, there may have been some grammar errors here and there, some spelling mistakes here and there, but I don't judge anyone. So, like I said, you write the story. You can always go through it, check the grammar, check the details, check that everything is all right, and then send it to me because I'm still going to read it the way it is, and I don't judge anyone. So if there's someone, because I understand most of us English is not our first language, so I will understand the way it. I will understand and accept the story the way it comes. Other than people, it has been a pleasure to have you guys on board. I wish you well. Much love and blessings. And there's more signing out.